What's going on, guys? This is Fast Derek here in the Everett 328 production studios for Moto number 12 of the MotOHIO show here on April 7th, 2020. We've got my one and only wife here joining us in the studio, Brittany Everett, joining us. How's it going, wife?
Good. It better be your one and only.
Yes, it is. Usually it's the one and only Grip It, Rip It, so, you know, kind of improvising here on the spot. So, glad you could join me, self-quarantining, the wife joining me here in the studio. Talk a little bit of motocross. There's really not much to catch up on in the past week since you guys were last joining us in the Everett 328 production studios, but I was able to pry a little bit of knowledge from the interwebs, and let me click all the buttons I need to click here real quick and get the background music back to playing. There we go. Yeah, make sure you, before we get too far and away, this week's show brought to you by the folks at the Ohio MX Pit Bike Riders. Make sure you guys go onto their Facebook page, like their page, ask to be a member of it. They're trying to raise, they're trying to get 10,000 members onto the OMPR page by July 4th, and they're going to give away a brand new pit bike. More on that coming up later in the show. And also this week's show brought to you by the folks at A&Y Performance. Also more on that coming later in the show. Where was I? Yes. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. Drop us a comment during the show. We are live right now in the Everett 328 production studio. So if you guys drop a comment, I did see Mr. Bissett. He was in the studio a few weeks ago. He is doing some road riding there. So, hey, Ivan, keep on pedaling, keep on trucking. We'll keep you guys entertained the whole way through. And you guys drop your comments if you guys have any questions about what's going on in the Ohio motocross community in the past couple of weeks, and if you guys want to know what's going on in the future, I'll do the best I can to relay all the information to you guys. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button whenever I post this to YouTube, and like and do all of that. Make sure you guys follow the MotOHIO show and share this onto your pages as well to spread the word of Ohio motocross news. Yeah, back to where I was getting to earlier. There hasn't been a whole lot going on in the Ohio motocross community in the past few weeks due to the COVID-19 crisis. You know, all the racetracks are shutting down. Everybody is obeying by the social distancing rules. It is, you know, tough break. Jimmy Walton with Route 62. He was planning on being open last weekend. He, you know, made all the phone calls he was supposed to make, and, you know, had everything taken care of on his end. But, you know, things fell through the cracks. In tough break for not being able to ride down there at Route 62 this past weekend. But, you know, you have to be able to follow the social distancing rules that everybody is enforcing, and we have to do our part. I know that we all want to get out there and we all want to go ride, we all want to go race, but we got to do what we have to do, and right now we just have to follow the rules. And you're a school teacher, so yeah,
that's a whole different ball game today, trying to reach out and make sure all my kids are alive and kicking and well. And I know I made a post a few days ago saying that if anybody needs help with anything out there that's not like one of my kids, that I do my best to help. And I've had a couple people reach out to me that are like, how do I get to this website, or this isn't opening for me. So I've been trying to help parents troubleshoot along the way too. So if you guys need anything, I'm here. I know I teach 7th through 12th grade science, but if you guys need help, just shoot me a message on Facebook and I'll do what I can to help.
And you being a science teacher, what's your take, honey, on the whole 6 feet, washing your hands, the masks, the gloves? Like, what is your whole take on the whole pandemic as it is right now?
Well, as far as a pathogen goes, initially they thought it was strictly airborne, and that's where the masks and the 6 feet really came into play. But the problem with this particular virus is that it can survive on surfaces, depending on the surface, for 12 to 48 hours. So even if you're going to the store and you're wearing gloves and you're wearing a mask and you pick up a gallon of milk and you put it in your car, if that virus is on that jug, it's now in your car. You'd have to disinfect your car. As soon as you get home, you'd have to strip down because it could be on your clothes. You'd have to disinfect that gallon. You'd have to, you know, get it into your house without touching it. And so it can literally survive anywhere at any time for several hours. And that's why people are saying, you know, stay at home, avoid going out, avoid, you know, going to the grocery store. I had to go to the grocery store a few days ago because we were out of milk, and, you know, that stuff expires. So you try to do it as minimal as you possibly can. I waited until I had absolutely no milk left and I needed other things. So that was our grocery trip for like the next couple of weeks. I've also been offering other people that are stuck at home, like, hey, I have to go to the grocery store today. Do you need anything? Because if I can pick up their stuff for them, then they don't have to go.
Right. Right.
So just, check in on
Minimizing exposure.
Right. So like if you're going to have to go because you've got kids or something and you need something, reach out to a family member. You could always do a porch drop off or something for them, but at least minimizing the number of people in that store, because I really think that those places are the ones where we're seeing those cases, like the numbers going up. Yeah, the stores.
The stores are the petri dishes of where this place is where this virus is growing.
Right. I really think it is, because that's the one place that everybody still has to get to.
Right.
And can't necessarily avoid, but it's the people that are going in because, well, I'm bored, I want to get out of the house, let's go walk around Walmart for an hour.
Right.
Those are the people that need to stay home. Like, just stay home, go outside, kick the ball around with the kids. Or, what we're going to end up doing, we're going to have a little turn track in our yard because of our kids. Like, you got to get creative. Go for a walk, go for a hike, go play an I Spy game on a walk or something. But, you just don't go to a store just to kill time.
Minimizing exposure is really what it's all about. It's not that everybody, in my opinion, everybody will be susceptible to being exposed to this virus. Nobody is exempt from this coming into contact with you. Everybody is going to come into contact with COVID-19 at some point in time, whether it has already happened, currently is happening, or will happen in the future.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people that I've talked about. I was sick like December, January, February. I had, for 2 weeks, I had this really bad cough. I couldn't get rid of it. They're like, maybe I had corona. It's quite possible that you did. There was several months there was some really nasty bugs going around. I know as a school teacher, a lot of my kids were out sick because they were, told.
And you were out sick too a couple of times, and the kids here at the house were.
Yeah, our kids, the doctor suspected that they had whooping cough, so we were in October.
Yes, we were.
And we were actually like quarantined
lockdown
ourselves. And then it, after a week or so, it cleared up. So like, it's plausible that totally happened. And it's just the fact now that they're diagnosing it as like they actually know exactly what it is.
Right.
And the fact that those tests are more available. So we're going to see those numbers go up. And, as soon as anybody exhibits any symptoms, even if we want to call it the common cold, they're like, I want to get tested for corona, because it very well could have been that too. But people also have to understand that the cases that you see where people are ending up on ventilators and in the ICU and things, those are people that are, most of the time, I'm not saying all, I'm not a medical expert, I don't have a PhD in medicine or anything like that, that are already immune compromised, that already have some sort of downfall that is not helping them stay healthy. It could be that they're older, that they have an immune deficiency, that they pregnant women. So by staying home, those are the people that we're trying to protect from getting it, because those are the people most likely to end up in dire straits.
Right. And it's not that they're incapable of getting it. They're going to be exposed to it at some point in time. And just like Rip It Kevin, his girlfriend Ashley and his
Ashley's
stepson.
Pregnant. Shout out Mama Ashley.
And stepson Cameron, they were
really
sick.
When we were in Huntington.
That was like the last
weekend
of
the last weekend of January.
Yep.
They were really, really sick, and because we were at Huntington for that race.
Kevin was completely helpless. He was down there with us representing the MotOHIO show, and
luckily Kevin didn't get sick.
Yeah.
But
maybe he did. Maybe he did get a catch of it, and he was one of the people that
his immune system was just able to
brush it off.
Yeah, right. So it's just all about like trying to maintain your level of health while not spreading it to others. What we're worried about is I'm not worried about me getting sick. I'm worried about if I touch something that has this virus and I touch something else and I give it to a kid. So I was getting irritated when I had to go to the store the other day because I see moms with 3 kids and a dad pushing around an infant in the cart. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
It's counterproductive.
Like, leave dad and the kids in the car. You go in, or just leave them at home, man. Like,
there's other things they can do.
There's kids out there that aren't vaccinated. There's kids out there babies are susceptible just as much as older folks and, you know, people in our age bracket. We're less likely if we're a healthy adult already. So hopefully, like, people are just taking the precautions, use your brain, you know, try to just avoid mass gatherings of people. I think is the biggest thing, is the hundreds of people in one place is where it really spreads. And
I really think that not to you know, bring back up what was supposed to be a positive thing this past weekend, is I think that was what the negative aspect of having the open practice at Route 62 may have bring, is we seen the sheer quantity of number of riders that were gonna come to Route 62 this past weekend, and that would have just been a huge gathering of people.
With all the best intentions.
With the best intentions and the best.
I know personally, I was like, let's go. I'm ready. Like, I want to get the dirt bikes out. I need two-stroke smoke in my life.
I need it too.
Right. Like, we're just a bunch of dirt bike junkies. But the better after we even talked, I'm just like, man, like, we could social distance, but I'm like,
there's no way that
it's going to be hard staying
away from people
6 feet, 10 feet, and staying out of people's pit stalls, because it's in our nature as a motocross community that we are extremely social. We're always there. Oh, I see your bike go down. Someone's going to come over to help you, and then they're already within 6 feet. Yeah, passing a wrench,
just like that.
Passing a gas can.
It's all the best intentions, but
it's inevitable, and it sucks.
It sucks.
I was rooting for Jimmy. I want to see a track open.
We all want to have a place to ride.
Shame on the person that called and complained, because that's really crappy. You should have just sit back and don't be a participant then. And just be like, that's not my bag, I don't agree. Whatever. But you don't, I'm never one to, you don't want to see a business, because when it comes down to it, tracks are a business.
They are a business. These people have food to put on the table. They have
and it costs money to open a track.
There's insurance to pay. There's all this stuff that has to be taken care of in advance to them even opening for practice. That's essentially money already down the drain that these tracks could have made.
Well, some of them are already missing qualifiers,
and we're going to get on that in just a second. I have a little bit of information on that.
Right, like they put a bunch of money in the off season into their tracks, and then because they're like, well, I know I have an area qualifier, I have a regional, I have a battle, I have all these races lined up, so I'm going to get my return on my investment. And then slowly, like, Malvern already missed, its opener, which we had beautiful weather for.
That would have been a great weekend for a ride.
Yeah, of course. That would have been the second year in a row we've had wonderful weather and would have had a ridiculous amount of riders show up. But that's just all money out of Bobby Noah's pocket. And that's what I'm scared of mostly, is that some tracks aren't going to survive, maybe. Because especially smaller tracks that are only capable of having a couple events a year, that's their return on their investment. So I'm worried about,
like, especially we're supposed to go down to Lazy River
in Georgia. Yeah, we're supposed to go at the end of the month.
And they have 3 races on their schedule for the year.
And one's a qualifier.
One's a qualifier. One's the end of this month, or there's a race at the end of this month. There's a qualifier beginning of next month. And at this point in time,
neither one probably is. I'm not going to say May, because we're still playing that one by ear. But this one in April isn't happening.
Yeah, it's just the chances of it going according to plan are pretty out the window at this point in time.
Yeah.
Anything going on in comments so far?
No, we just got a ton of people. We'll give some shout outs to Todd Doak and Bill Harper. I see Christopher Lovejoy. Hey, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys, for up there watching.
For jumping in and checking out the MotOHIO show, Moto number 12 or the MotOHIO show. Let's get on a little bit about that, the upcoming season. At this point in time, I was able to go on the Ohio the Ohio Motocross Association's Facebook page and check out any new information. And at this point in time, they are still on hold for the upcoming races to start. The schedule is still kind of, it is what it is on the OMA schedule, but at this point in time, they are not having any races. At least they're not announcing that they're going to be having any races. So the best advice I can give you for the Ohio motocross community is just stay in touch with the OMA Facebook page and see if there are any announcements on if these tracks are going to be opening up the upcoming weekends for practice and or for the races. At this point in time, I don't see that happening until we get the announcement from the guys up above that we're allowed to do what we want to do and gather with folks. So at this point in time, the OMA schedule is still kind of in limbo and on hold, which we all want to go race. We all want to go have fun and twist it and get some gate drops, but we're still at idle on that.
The best thing we can do though is make sure your bikes are ready.
Yep.
Because as soon as that announcement gets made that the tracks are open,
everybody's gonna be flooding.
Show up in droves. Get those tracks the support.
Yep.
I really hope I don't see anybody complaining about gate fees or ride fees. Just go ride. Show up. Just go ride. Let's boost the spirits of those track owners because that they do everything for us.
And I have not found any information yet at this time on the Race Ohio series down in Southwest Ohio. Kind of waiting to see if Scott Plessinger touches base with me if they're going to be having any races in the future, or if Mr. Dill is able to comment in, and he's kind of the motocross Southwest guy. So if he's able to comment in and let me know, Mr. Jack Dill, if he's got any information on the Race Ohio series,
they had a practice.
They did have a practice scheduled.
Practice, and I'm curious to know because we didn't go.
Right.
I'm curious to know how their social distancing worked out because it seemed like they had a lot of really strict guidelines about they were making sure pit stalls were so many feet apart, and they had practices chopped up.
You were talking to me about that over the weekend.
Yeah.
East Fork MX was, I believe, open for practice. Scott Plessinger, the caretaker, the runner of East Fork MX, he had things planned out where he was going to be parking vehicles in the pits at 15 feet intervals.
Something like that
between each pit stall to give you guys ample distance between the families, the pits, to maintain that 6 feet distance, even though that the 6 feet's kind of fictitious in some people's eyes, but he was doing everything that he had to do, and he was also making sure that everybody had their own pens. Everybody was out there on the racetrack with their own skill level practice session, so that way the racetrack was not flooded with riders that were not needed to be out there with other riders. He had an AB group, he had a C group, he had a mini group.
If you weren't jumping the triple, you weren't allowed in those groups.
He had it very well broken down into different segmented groups of riders.
Right. So I'm curious if anybody did go down to East Fork MX, comment in and let me know how that worked out because maybe if it went well, it might be worth an adventure.
That might be
in the future sometime.
That might be worth some of these tracks making a phone call to Scott Plessinger and getting a little bit of an idea on, was this successful? Is this something that we can implement to make a couple of dollars in this time that nobody's riding?
I think the biggest thing is they'd have to limit the number of people that
yes,
show up. Because,
I think that is the biggest thing.
As soon as they say tracks open, we all want to ride our dirt bikes. We all want to be around the dirt bikes, but they're going to have to. And I think that's what was Scott's biggest thing is that he chopped up the practice time. Said if you're in this kind of class or on this type of bike, you ride at this time.
And he limited the number of people.
And then when you're done, you're out of here because that's it.
No mingling, no hanging, none of that stuff.
It wasn't a hangout. You're here to ride your dirt bike and that's it.
Yep. And huge shout, Scott Plessinger, for putting that on this past weekend. I really want to know how that practice session went.
How it was successful, yeah.
Yes, because that is something that a lot of these tracks could potentially implement to be open during this time. That way they're, doing everything that they have to do to still have fun. That's what it's all about, is having fun on two wheels. Sometimes four wheels. Blake Umbaugh, he's our local.
Oh, Blake.
He's our MotOHIO show representative in the ATV community. So, yeah. I do have a little bit of information about the ATV MX community and just checking things out. We were talking about the Ohio MX, community. I did get a little bit of information for that
picture is like crazy. I love that picture. Eli Tomac just like it's not over.
Well, we're going to get on the Supercross in just a couple of minutes, but I do want to touch on the Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Motocross Series. We did make a bunch of or at least I made a bunch of speculations. You know, T. McQueen commented in, Meister commented in, a bunch of people did comment in.
We've had several arguments over what Loretta's is going to look like.
And at this point in time, I'm going to read directly from Racer X Online. This is coming from Racer X themselves, the people that put on the MX Sports Series. The area qualifier and regional race schedules are complicated and have been drastically altered by the national crisis. MX Sports and the AMA have developed several scenarios to reschedule the program, and we'll issue a video announcement explaining the various options. Although no decision has been made at this time, it is important that the race community be aware of the decision-making process. So MX Sports and the AMA, they are not taking this lightly. They are taking everybody's opinions, they're taking their own opinions into account and trying to create a 2020 Amateur National schedule for you guys to race. And just like I said, they're going to be having a video announcement explaining the various options in the future. No decision has been made officially at this time, and this is a post that was made on Racer X as of 8 hours ago, 9 hours ago earlier today. So this was made just this morning that this announcement was made about Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Motocross. I made the speculation like, hey, what if we bring back Ponca as a Amateur National Motocross
I just wanted
place?
An excuse to go to Ponca, so.
What if they have a race at Mammoth? What if they have one? What if they have it at Loretta's later in the year, though? Just what if? There's so many different circumstances that the folks at at MX Sports and the AMA are taking into consideration to still have a 2020 Amateur National Motocross Championship.
Yeah, so they're coming up with plan A, B, C, D, and E. They're just like, if May 1st they call it, we wave the white flag and they're saying we're done with social distancing, they're gonna have a plan. If it gets extended until the end of May, they're gonna have a plan. So they're just trying to, daily we have stuff with the governor getting updated.
Yep.
They're tweaking their plan every day, even every hour maybe, just as new information comes in, because they don't know they can't predict the future.
And I would be willing to bet that the folks at MX Sports are not going to make an official announcement until a national lift has been made.
Yeah, I don't see them doing just certain regions. It's going to have to be a national all clear.
So, I mean, I did hear, rumors that, things are kind of peaking in some states at this point in time, and we're kind of plateauing, but I don't know.
I think the data, it has to catch up a little bit, because I think there's a lag in the data.
I do believe that is right.
But I think I'm hoping.
I'm hoping.
I'm not going to say
We are hoping that it's plateauing.
Statisticians or anything, but that bell curve, like it's looking like it's starting to peak, and hopefully we can just ride the roller coaster back down the hill.
And down the hill to the motocross track we go.
Right, you're gonna have to fight me. I'll be first one in.
I did see that MX Sports Pro Racing is making a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. They already have 3 or 4 plans in order for the nationals, for the pro nationals. They already have announced that the series opener at Hangtown has been canceled, postponed. I want to say they have 2 free weekends in August, and they will not be racing motocross past September 12th. That is the official cutoff
for nationals. That's what they're saying. Done.
We're done. September 12th. They are not having any more outdoor nationals past that date.
So it could be a very, very busy June, July, August.
Oh, it could be very busy. Whether it's amateurs, pro-ams, nationals.
Yeah, like it's
Supercross, because I'm going to touch on that in just a second as well.
Well, yeah, Supercross on top of it all. Like, this is going to be insane.
It's going to be very condensified pro-amateur. It's going to be a condensed motocross 2020 season, to say the least.
For some of those kids that go to all the Supercross futures and stuff like that, if they reschedule those at all, some of these kids are going to be living in an RV. A lot of long overnight drives for mom and dad.
Yeah.
Dedication.
So this is pretty much, at this point in time, the Lucas Oil motocross schedule is tentatively scheduled to begin on June 13th at the Florida National at WW Ranch in Florida. So at this point in time, June 13th is probably when we're going to see the pro riders again. That's probably going to be the first time we're going to see these guys back on two wheels behind a gate is down at WW for the season opener, hopefully at that date, for round number 1 of the motocross series. We're probably
we should get tickets. I'm out of school. We're on a whim. We went to Red Bull
at this
Straight
point
Rhythm.
in time,
Let's just go.
I kind of have to see what schedules are opening up because
the announcing our stuff's gonna get all over the place.
I do have a lot of commitments with a lot of tracks at this point in time.
Speaking of commitments, hi Lonnie and hi Rodney. See you guys.
Hey, thanks for joining in for
Lonnie
number 12 of the
Richardson
show.
and Rodney Gabriel.
At this point in time, the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross season is set to begin on September 12th. That is right coming from the same article that I found coming from earlier today. They made that announcement. No, that's September 12th. That's the end of the motocross series. Yeah. The season opener is June 13th at WW in Florida. So we're trying to kick things off June 13th and wrap things up by September 12th. Those are the cutoff. Those are the bookends of the motocross series. But quick break. This week's show brought to you by the folks at the Ohio MX Pit Bike Riders and AOI Performance. Thank you guys for helping us out. Thanks to the OMPR for helping us out for the remainder of the 2020 season. As you can see, I do not have the Pitster Pro FSE 110R in the studio this week. I was able to get that thing out and tear it up a little bit over the weekend. Didn't tear the bike up. Tore the track up, or
Kevin took it out too.
Tore the yard up, and we kept our social distance. I opened the garage door on Sunday. Kevin came in, got the bike, and took it riding on Sunday. So the OMPR Pitster Pro is a little bit dirty, still sitting in the garage. I haven't had a free chance to get that thing washed and get it here in the studio. Last night had to do the homeowner's duty, mow the grass and weed eat. And tonight I had to get here in and on the microphones for moto number 12 of the show, so I wasn't able to get the Pitster Pro here in the studio. So just wanted to do a quick break on that. And back to the Supercross series. I did see that they have officially announced that it is not over. The Supercross series is not over, and I mentioned that, I believe, in the last week's show, that they are going to officially cancel the Las Vegas and I believe the final round, which would have been at Salt Lake City. So those two races are kaput. They are not racing at Salt Lake City nor Las Vegas, and those races would have been, I believe, in April. I did have the schedule here, but things get crazy here in the studio, and I lose my dates. Or lose my points on these pages, but I do see that they are still racing rounds 11 through 17. They will be racing rounds 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. We just don't know where and when, but they will be racing.
They're gonna happen.
Yes, and if you guys think that it's a little bit weird to break up the Supercross schedule, well, it's a little bit weird to me. It's a little bit weird to a lot of the people in, my age bracket, but Rodney, hey, you may be able to vouch for this. The 77 through 85 Supercross season finales were held either during the AMA Nationals or after the Nationals were over. And that would have been...
So they had like a big chunk of break time and train time.
Yeah. They had a huge gap in the Supercross series in the 70s and 80s. So this isn't anything, quote, new. It's just a modern rendition.
Vintage, we're bringing it back.
We're bringing back the old school Supercross setup with wrapping things up later in the year. It'll be wrapping the Supercross series up, be Monster Energy Supercross, and thanks Gary for commenting. The wife's reading that comment right now, but wrapping things up with this motocross, wrapping things up with Supercross, then the Monster Cup, and then right back into Supercross in January. So it's going to be a little bit weird this summer, fall, and winter. It's going to be pretty condensed. What did Whoop Monster, what did Gary have to say?
Whoop Monster says, always do your best and have fun. Never quit when you still have something to give. It's not a funeral. Make some noise. Privateer power. Whoop Monster out.
Thanks, Gary. Jerry, I do appreciate you commenting in and being a part of the MotOHIO show. I do want to get up there and check that track out and shake your hand at some point in time after the COVID crisis is over. So it is what it is, says Rodney Gabriel.
Yeah, it is. It sucks. I can't remember who posted it today. I was just scrolling through Facebook, and I know.
Hey, grip it.
finish flagger Keith Clark.
Yeah.
Okay. He posted. He goes, "This makes me want to cry." It was a picture of High Point.
The grass.
All overgrown, and I'm like,
that's how they do it every
damn.
year.
I know, but like the fact that I know that a lot of tracks do it that way, because I remember you showing me a picture of it a couple years ago, and I'm like, Loretta's looks like that too.
Yeah, they purposely...
Like, it just turns into a field, and it's because to help with the drainage throughout the year, so it just doesn't become like a mud clay hole. But it was sad that just to see it, like, knowing that it's going to stay that way for a while.
The foreseeable future.
Right.
It is terrible.
That was the part that I was like, damn.
But yes, we are officially going to have the end of the Supercross. We just don't know where and when. But it's probably going to be after that September 12th date, and it's probably going to be before the Monster Cup in October. So it's going to be somewhere in there. As for the Red Bull Straight Rhythm, that was
October 5th last year.
So that date might be adjusted, or I'm really hoping they have the Red Bull Straight Rhythm again, because that was a blast to go out there
with Zach Peters and Ashton Krause. That was a ton of fun. I can't wait to do it again.
I do hope that they still have the Straight Rhythm, but the whole schedule and the whole series is going to be, I don't want to say fly by night, but it's going to be fly by the seat of our pants. We'll say that. And it's probably going to be, the Supercross is going to be between September 12th and the Monster Cup date, and then they're going to have the October break into January. This is all
speculation.
Tentative speculation, because
speculation.
What if this COVID dips down during the summer, and from what some people are saying, it reoccurs again in the fall, and we have another spike. This may throw a huge bone in it, and it may all be changing again this winter. So
there's even been a couple of people talking to other teachers and things like that we're concerned that we might not even get to go back to school in August, that we might be starting off the school year with this remote learning and stuff again, which is, it's a learning curve, because there's a lot of older teachers that aren't as well versed in some of the tech stuff. So, like, there's a lot of things on the line for a lot of people right now. And what's even worse is, like, a lot of people that can't go to work because they're not essential. And so for those people, that breaks my heart for them. Especially the people that are like, I just want to go ride my dirt bike. They're not essential. They might not be ready to be able to go race as soon as the track's open, because, they hadn't been working for a month or two.
They don't have the money. They don't have the funds to do it.
And so I'm kind of hoping that somewhere out there, some track throws mercy on some people, and we're just like, you know what, free ride day or something. Because, like, there's some kids I know that they, tracks
this is how the tracks have to make money, but then there's also some...
Right, like, because there's going to be at least one. There's going to be at least one that says, like, Pee Wee riders ride free today or something like that. There's going to be something, and I'm hoping they do, just to help out those people that were like, my kid just wants to ride their dirt bike. Because you know me, there's a special place in my heart for the Pee Wees. They are my favorite. They were the first race I ever watched at East Fork, actually. That was the first time you took me down there, and I just, their helmets are bigger than their bodies.
I'm still mad at you. You weren't a good doggy last night.
Hick's in trouble.
Just want to take a quick break, and this week's show brought to you by the folks at the Ohio MX Pit Bike Riders. As I already mentioned earlier, I don't have the Pitster Pro FSC 110R here in the studio, but we're going to be representing that bike and racing it and practicing on it as much as we can. Also do want to give a huge shout out, Sean Lowe, the Pit Bike Doctor. He can get you anything that you may need for your pit bikes. Doesn't matter if you have a Kawasaki, if you have a name brand pit bike from one of the big four in Japan, or if you have one of the Pitster Pro machines, if you have a Piranha, if you have an RFZ Apollo, if you have a YCF machine, if you have any need for parts, get a hold of Sean Lowe or Dustin Silvas at the Pit Bike Doctor and get your pit bike back in working order, and continue to have fun on two wheels. And right now, pit bikes, it's the best bikes to ride in your yards and create ruts and tear it up right now. So this is the best time to get those things back in working order and continue having some fun. Also, this is also the perfect time to get a hold of Sean Lowe. He is trying to get
He wants 10,000
Yes, he wants
followers on OMPR, and then he's going to give away a pit bike, but it has to be by July 4th.
Yes.
By the 4th of July. And right now he's at like, I think 5,800.
Something like that.
So
he's
it
got
can
a little bit
definitely
of...
happen, guys. So go on there, make sure you like the OMPR page, you follow the OMPR page, and that's basically throwing your hat in the ring to win that pit bike.
And that has been announced. That is going to be one of those Pitster Pro FSC 110Rs, exactly like you've seen here in the studio. And, you know, I have tomorrow off work. I did see that tomorrow afternoon it's supposed to be in the mid-60s. So
yeah, it's going to be a pretty nice day.
I am going to try to have a little turn track set up in the yard and look on YouTube, look on the Grip It Media channel for a little bit of review on that Pitster Pro FSC 110R. Shout out to the guys for hooking it up, and you know, we're gonna have a little bit more of the Pitster Pro action in the near future. So make sure you guys are checking that out and get a hold of Sean and Dustin and get yourself riding pit bikes again. Also, do want to give a huge shout out to AY Performance. Sierra down there at AY Performance is doing the $300 frame up bike pre-race overhaul. She's going to take your bike, strip it all the way down to the frame, grease all the bearings, grease all the pivot points, clean and oil your air filter. She's going to change your oil, put a new put a new oil filter in that, and replace any wearable parts that need to be replaced at the cost of parts. And for only $300 to do that, that is a perfect...
For a total teardown, that's pretty good.
That's a killer deal.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to grease bearings. Nobody wants to tear their bike down and diagnose it and deem it race worthy for the season. And for only $300, get a hold of Sierra down there at AOI Performance. She will get your bike torn down and get it race ready before the tracks open up, coming up whenever that may be. This is the perfect opportunity to get your steed race ready for the future. So
that's why Kev Boy's bike's down there right now. Kevin Ott's bike's getting torn down by Miss Sierra.
Yep.
So I know he's chomping at the bit to get his bike back.
He is. Grip It's bike is getting the A&Y treatment. He is getting the frame up overhaul, courtesy of the folks at A&Y Performance. So, you know, get your bike race ready this year. Do what you have to do to...
Those things you've been pushing off and like, it'll wait. Dude, you got nothing but time right now.
Absolutely.
You got nothing but time.
Get a hold of Sean Lowe, get a pit bike, and in the meantime, take your race bike down to Sierra and have that thing overhauled for the race season coming up later this year. Also, do want to give a huge shout out. Nick McBride, FlowVision Goggles, the FlowVision owner, has hooked it up with one of the 3D logo hats. And check out the Slater goggles. This is one of the newer models that they have out. I have not got a couple of new models of the goggles. He did unveil the black and orange color scheme, and he also the Slam Lifes are back in stock, and he has a couple of other FlowVision goggles back in stock.
He's got new hoodies out.
He's got new hoodies. He's got multiple different color schemes of these 3D logo hats, so definitely check those out. He's got I'll tell you, he's got a gray hat with a blue brim. That thing is fresh looking. I've always been kind of partial to purple because purple's kind of cool. But, you know, I definitely have to get one of those gray and blue hats, one of the 3D logo hats from FlowVision. Also, do want to give a huge shout out to Rob Baumgart and the folks from Defiance Lifestyles. Keeping me looking fresh in these announcer shirts. I got to get me a couple of new ones for the 2020 season. These were my 2019 announcer shirts. So before I head back to the racetrack and get on the microphone for the 2020 season, hey, Rob, I got to get a couple of new pit shirts. So
the wife can use
and we gotta get some FlowVision t-shirts made up. I know
we gotta get MotOHIO show.
Yeah, we got it. Or not FlowVision, we got MotOHIO show.
MotOHIO show.
Yeah, that's what I meant. We can
Nick
get
McBride stuff.
Nick can get his own shirts. Nick has his own shirts.
Right. Yeah, we gotta get some MotOHIO stuff put together, and it'll happen. We're just like everybody else. We're just sitting on our hands, waiting. Yep, it'll happen though. Also, if you guys need to get your bikes race ready, either get a hold of Sierra. She can get you nearly any part to get your bike back in race order if you guys are down in that area. If you guys are here in the Canton, New Philly, Dover area in Ohio, swing on down to Action Extreme Sports. I'm the new parts manager down there at AES. If you need any parts to get your steed back in race shape, I can do what I can do. I can check out some parts and get you guys the best deal I can on tires, air filters, premix. You know, if you guys need anything to get your bikes back race ready, or you can just call in and irritate them.
Yeah, you can call in and irritate me. That I love the calls. I need a set of wheel bearings and I need a set of pumpkin bearings for my 1985 Lakota 220 Kawasaki four-wheeler. I'm like, Nope.
The 1979 three-wheeler I found in my grandpa's barn needs this, and that. No.
Those are the phone calls. Those are the phone calls that make the day go by. I'll tell you that.
You should start keeping like a log of like the blooper calls.
They're a treat, to say the least. I do want to thank you guys for joining us here in the Everett 328 Productions for Moto number 12 of the MotOHIO show. Hey, Meister, you have not won a set of these goggles. I will say it right now.
I haven't even seen Meister pop up as watching yet.
I know he's
so
not doing his part.
I'm a little hurt right now because he's usually like Johnny on the spot. But I know it's nice weather out, and like I know him and Court have been.
They've been doing
doing all kinds of stuff outside. So hopefully all is well over there at the Meister house.
Meister and I had a little side bet going on that he said if I can hold off of saying I can't thank you guys enough. Quote. That's the one time you're going to get me on that. If I say that more than 10 times in a show, he was going to get a pair of these Flow Vision goggles. And ever since he said that, I have not said it more than once, and if I did, I caught myself right away.
Wait though, but why would he need goggles? He gets on his dirt bike like twice a year.
Ha! Dig, Meister. That wasn't even coming from me. So
I think I've seen him on a bike maybe a half dozen times in 4 years.
Hey, so
I see him on that snowmobile way more than I do.
Getting called out.
Just saying.
Sounds like the puppies are getting a little bit stir crazy here in the Everett 328 Production Studios, and honestly, that's about all the more that I have to wrap up with Moto news and the Ohio world and national world. We've touched on the OMA schedule. It's still kind of on idle. We don't really know what's going on. The Race Ohio schedule, we really don't know what's going on. As for the Nationals, that is tentatively scheduled from June 13th through September 12th. So they're going to be having the Nationals between those dates. Hopefully, fingers crossed. They're going to be having the Supercrosses probably after September 12th and before that October Monster Energy Cup date, and hopefully they still have that Red Bull Straight Rhythm race coming up in October, and hopefully they still have the Monster Energy Cup. That's not going to be in Las Vegas. I did have Ashley Harris. She commented in last week and said that's going to be in California. So thank you, Ashley, for finalizing that detail and saying that the Monster Energy Cup is going to be in California next year, or this coming year, or this year actually. So that really wraps up with everything here in the moto world from the past week. I want to thank you guys all for commenting in. Thank you, Jerry Havoc for the Woot Monster for joining in for Moto number 12 of the show. Thanks, Kevo. Thanks, Gabriel or Rodney for joining in. Ivan, thank you for joining in during your bike ride, and thank you for the rest of the motocross community for joining in. For the Moto number 12 of the MotOHIO show. Thanks to all of our sponsors, the folks at AY Performance, the Ohio MX Pit Bike Riders, Flow Vision, Action Extreme Sports, and Defiance Lifestyles for helping us out once again. Sounds like the dogs were getting a little bit stir crazy, and the wife took those outside. I do want to thank my wife for filling us in on a little bit of the biology and the science aspect behind the COVID-19 crisis, and just getting her opinion on the whole thing, because she is a biology teacher. She has seen quite a few of these things, as she has had some medical issues in the past. She did a lot of papers on infectious diseases in college. She's pretty up on her stuff when it comes to this. So she's been paying attention, and I'm glad that she was able to join in and fill you guys in on some of the details. Do want to thank you guys so much for joining us for Moto number 12 of the MotOHIO show. I don't do this for me. I do the show for you guys. So if I can continue to give you guys great Ohio motocross news, I'm doing my part. We're still trying to grow the community, trying to grow sponsors here for the show. So if you guys can continue to post the shows share the shows onto your Facebook pages and social media outlets to continue to grow the show, I would greatly appreciate that. I love doing the show. We have the Everett 328 Production Studios. It was my youngest stepdaughter's bedroom at one point in time, but it has since moved into its own room here in the Everett household. So
moving up in the world, we just need a bigger house. Like, it's gonna have to happen. Like,
The studio's getting a little bit cramped, but it does everything that it needs to do. It looks pretty cool. We've got the 42-inch flat screen up on the TV, or up on the wall. We've got a professional mixer and stuff like that. So it's slowly working its way into what I've always dreamed it could be. So like I said, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you guys. So if you guys are still enjoying the show, thank you very much, and share this onto your Facebook page. Subscribe whenever I post this onto to YouTube, grip/it media, grip it media. Pretty self-explanatory, you know, grip it, rip it, media on YouTube. So thank you guys for joining in for Moto number 12 of the MotOHIO show. Any last statements, honey?
No, not really. Like, as far as the kids go, like the teacher and me, like, again, like if you guys need help with something, just send me a message and I'll do what I can, because I know a lot of parents are starting to pull their hair out. I know that I'm pulling my hair out with our second grader a little bit. And, you know, seeing parents, like, I can't do, one of our friends was like, I'm struggling with kindergarten packets right now. And I'm just like, just message me, not licensed in, you know, that age group, but I can at least help you troubleshoot some of the tech stuff and whatever. So stay safe, stay healthy, always wear a helmet if you are riding around in your yard.
And if you guys...
Talon Harper.
If you guys need anything at all, whether it's tech help, I mean, I'm not the most tech savvy guy, but I knew absolutely nothing when it came to...
Yeah, you've learned a lot really fast.
I knew nothing when it came to a mixer board. I knew nothing what to look for in microphones, computer software, computer hardware. I knew nothing. All I did was self-teach myself, and it has built itself into this great show. So software stuff, I can do anything that I can do to get you guys steered in the back.
If you guys need anything to, like,
we're just
you know,
here to
I'm
help.
home all day. Just message us. We'll do what we can to help anybody out. Whether it's you needing parts or whatever, if you're close by, we'll help out as much as we can, because you guys are all Moto family to us.
If you guys can't get out during the quarantine, you know, like I said, I'm the parts manager down there at AES. Let me know what you need. I'll look up some prices, get you guys some parts. We'll figure out some payment arrangements. If you guys live here in the Canton area, you know, I drive to New Philly to work every day, and I can come up here and, you know, potentially drop some parts off if you guys can't get out of the house to maintain the social distancing stuff.
Yeah, so we'll do whatever we can to help everybody else, and that's what we kind of expect from the rest of you guys, is you do what you can to help out, but, you know, keep your distance.
Yep. Like I said, thank you guys for joining us for Moto number 12 of the MotOHIO show. Thank you to the Ohio MX Pit Bike Riders, ANY Performance, ANY Racing, Flow Vision goggles and sunglasses. Thanks, Nick, for hooking me up with a new hat. Thank you, Rob Baumgart, the folks from Defiance Lifestyles, for keeping us looking fresh here in the studio. And thanks, Jeff and Chuck down there at Action Extreme Sports for helping me out for 15 years. They were my first sponsor.
Easy, you're starting to show how old Jeff is.
Well, AES was my first sponsor back in the day, and
they're the OG.
They are the original sponsor of me
Derek
racing.
Everett.
Yeah, and now I'm working with them, and, you know, just being a good friend to them. I can't thank you.
I had fun going down there.
Yeah, you got me, Meister. You got me.
That's one, but he's not watching, so does that really count?
Good point.
I had fun. I went down, you know, last week, and was like just putzing around, cleaning in the shop and stuff, and just listening to you guys banter and talk and like moving around and stuff. It was cool.
It's cool.
There's a lot of dirt bikes in that shop.
So thanks, guys, for joining us. Thank you all of our sponsors, and make sure you guys join us next week. It will be April 14th for Moto number 13. Thanks, guys, for joining us for Moto number. Let me get my stuff brought up here before I shine out. Yeah, make sure you guys join us next week for Moto number 13 of the MotOHIO show.